film for... What do they call it?
Hello!
Perpetuity.
Wait. Were you recording all that?
No, I wanted to.
Oh.
I just hit record.
Okay.
Oh, hello there. I didn't see it.
Alright, welcome to the 40th episode of Drunk Doctor Who Heroes and Villains, where we discuss Kamelion, one of the most maligned and deservedly so companions for Doctor Who.
Deservedly maligned?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like him? Oh, or because he turned out to be a bad guy. But it wasn't really his fault.
Well, yes and no and yes and no. No, it was maligned because nobody knew how to work the robot.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knew how to work the android.
I guess I don't know what maligned means.
Disparaged. Disparaged.
Yeah, but you said rightfully so.
Yeah.
I don't think he's rightfully disparaged. You mean justifiably so?
Yes.
Because no one knew. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like putting him down as a companion. Like,
I am.
Oh, you didn't like him?
I'm Hannah. This is Holt.
That's me.
All right, and today is the 8th of April, 2024.
1990.
Why do you have 24? 2024.
Wait, what? Yeah.
The 8th of April, 2024.
That's the right date. That's today.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, and we were talking about Kamelion. If you have not seen Kamelion,
which you blink, you'll miss him. He's just not around for long.
Yeah, he shows up in the King's Demons as a little chameleon. He's an android, but he can take the shape of people around him. Also, unfortunately, he's easily controllable.
Yeah.
So
easily influenceable? It's
yes, because he apparently has no will of his own.
Hacking into him, that it's just like, hey, you should change your mind about that. He's like, okay.
I want you to pretend to be the king. Okay, I'm pretending to be the king. So he disappears after the first serial in which he shows up, and then like 4 serials later, or 4 or 5, he shows up again. Finally, so he's been in the TARDIS this whole time somewhere supposedly, but he shows up once again, does something against the Doctor, and then ends up begging the Doctor to kill him, which the Doctor does.
It was he's kind of terrorizing.
Well, it's the Master controlling him again.
Right. The
way the Master controlled him in the King's Demons.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm too weak, I'm too vulnerable, I will always be this way, please kill me.
And then there's that weird scene where there's like the silver person that was phasing in between Kamelion and the Master, and her father-in-law, Carrie's dead.
Yeah, because all the different minds were messing with him.
But it's actually Kamelion.
It was Kamelion.
And he was changing into all those different...
Because the Master wanted to change into the Master. Yeah. She wanted him to change into the Father or whatever. Yeah. It was just messed up.
And then he just gave up.
Gave up on life.
On his existence.
And the Doctor ends up killing him with the Master's shrink ray gun.
We call that a coup de grace.
Yeah, but he was begging to be killed, begging to die.
Equally as funny is how we're introduced to Kamelion, which is he's a minion of the Master's, right? The Master is using him for his plans,
and
he just assumes that he has this mental hold on Kamelion, but he's a robot, so you can't really mind control him anyway.
Android, but
and then the Doctor shows up and he literally just convinces him not to do that. And he's like, okay. And then the Master's like, I never saw this coming.
It's okay.
It's like, where did the Master get Kamelion? Did it ever say?
Okay, so
did they make him?
So what happened was this android was brought onto the show, and he's a big 6-foot silver tall android, and the guy who invented him knew how to operate him and could make him work, and he did pretty well for the King's Demons.
They should have just put a guy in a suit. Way easier.
You couldn't have done it in that particular outfit. You would have had to have made it.
You ever see people do the robot?
They're really
good at it now.
Yeah,
real convincing.
But so what happened was then before the next season, because King's Demons is the end of that season.
Right.
The guy dies in a boating accident. The guy who invented and knew how to operate Kamelion.
The guy in real life, yeah.
Yeah, the guy in real life. So they had this companion that was supposed to be a major companion, kind of like K9, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't know how to operate him. So they told the guy, okay, here, take this, figure out how to work it. And he was working on it for months.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, he comes back and he goes, okay, I know how to work it. They say, great, because we're writing him off the show because he's too difficult to work with. And they wrote him off the show. And
rightfully maligned.
Rightfully maligned, yeah.
Okay.
And they wrote him off the show. But it's a real life thing, just like Roger Delgado, the original master, getting in dying in a car wreck in Turkey, you know? Or I think it was Turkey.
Well, he's the Time Lord. He regenerates. Like he's timeless. What I don't get is why James Bond regenerates.
Well, for the longest time, it was the same character, being played by different actors.
Now,
but he didn't regenerate. They just assumed he was the same guy.
James Bond started that, and then they're just like, "Hey, let's take that for Doctor Who." Or do you think Doctor Who started it, and James Bond was like, "Hey, that's a good idea. Let's just keep swapping."
Different characters in real life have played the same actor. Different actors play the same character many times. And back in the day, you were just assumed to go along with it. Mm-hmm. There were TV shows like I Dream of Jeannie, where you had Darren. Mm-hmm. And a few seasons in, they just replace him. He leaves the show, and they replace him with another Darren. Mm-hmm. And you're just supposed to accept it. People are less accepting of that now. But to be fair, the switch in Doctor Who happened before the switch in James Bond.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it just became like a British thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people still do it today.
Yeah. Gosh. I forgot. Oh, do you know which character has been in the most movies? Not actor, character.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you going to go watch the new one? What was it called? Kong? And
no. I saw the original one.
The
second one.
Me too.
And I'm like,
I think this one's going to be a little bit better.
All right, you have 2 serials. Which is your favorite with Kamelion?
Oh, like I said, they're equally funny. But I have to give it to the last one we have them in because it's just so dark.
Planet of Fire.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but you have more episodes, and you get Turlo's exit as well as Kamelion's exit.
And there's the whole... That's really the entirety of Kamelion's character. Because we get introduced to him, and he shows up, and then we just forget about him. Until he shows up again, and then he's actually involved in the plot, where he's being mind-controlled, and is putting Perry in distress, and
then begs to die.
Yeah, we see, and it finishes out his character arc in that one serial.
Yeah.
Kind of starts and finishes.
We usually do not have 2 unrelated companions leave in the same serial. Like Ian and Barbara were together as a pair. Amy and Rory do that later.
We had Turlo and Kamelion.
But they were completely unrelated in general terms.
And it's weird to just see that blank slate. It's like, let's start over.
No. Because we picked up Perry.
Right.
That particular serial. So she was a companion for that serial as well.
And she just replaced the other 2.
Essentially. There were the 3 of them for that serial, and then they go away, and she leaves, and then the Doctor turns over, the very next story.
There's that one great episode, the ending, where Hartnell loses Ian and Barbara and Susan?
Susan had left much earlier. Ian and Barbara leave, but Hartnell's with Vicky.
When does he lose the companion and then he sits in the TARDIS and he's like, I'm all alone?
I was talking about that online earlier.
Oh.
Ian and Barbara, Susan had left, or the Doctor had left her. Ian and Barbara had left. In the meantime, he was with Vicky. Mm-hmm. Then he picks up Stephen. Mm-hmm. Vicky leaves. And then the Doctor gets to a point where he's brought Stephen home, and Stephen leaves. And so then the doctor sits in his armchair and goes...
So he had a pretty long,
right. And
unbroken span
of companions of the TARDIS, but we still have companions of the TARDIS because the Doctor, you're thinking we're not going to have one, and Doctor's just lamenting, and he's going through each one, and then Stephen runs back in and goes, Doctor, these people are coming, we got to go, and then right before, then Dodo runs in, and you end up with Stephen and Dodo.
And the Doctor's not sad for very long. Which is good, because the Doctor's not very good without companions, we find out.
Correct. There's only the one serial, The Deadly Assassin, when he did not have a companion.
And one of the most charismatic people to ever play the Doctor. Couldn't really manage the...
Fully pull it off. He needs
exposition.
He needs someone to ask questions and talk to, like we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's the whole, dynamic of Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who and the companions. And the companions are like the audience's representation of being in the story.
Yeah.
And being explain things and asking questions.
Alright.
It doesn't work without that. The exposition is just rough, especially back then. The writing stuff. You can have great doctors, right? And Troughton and Tom Baker, and just terrible, terrible serials. Just
sometimes, yes.
Poorly and cheesy. And a product of the time too. A lot of it is just how old it was and how limited. Not only their technology, but their budget was so limited too.
That's why you animated.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, not well.
Goodbye, Kamelion. All right.
Oh.
Okay.
Do we never see Kamelion again?
No. Oh. We never see Trillo again thus far. We never see Kamelion again thus far.
I feel like Doctor Who is trying to be a little bit ahead of its time, whereas you have K9, a completely animatronic companion. Mm-hmm. And then you have Kamelion, a completely animatronic companion, which can go terribly wrong, as we found out. But you take a look at its competitors along the times, like Star Wars, and they had C-3PO, just a guy in a suit. They had R2-D2, just a little guy in a suit. They're
I met that little guy.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until 1999, they're filming the Phantom Menace, that they finally decide to make R2-D2 all animatronic, and they had so many issues, just him getting over the curbs. So the fact that Doctor Who pulled it off with K9 is just kind of crazy.
Yeah. And to a much, much, much lesser extent, Kamelion.
and sometimes it's just them picking up K9.
Because
of his stairs.
Yeah.
He's like a Dalek.
Alright, Doctor Who news. Last Tuesday I went to go get season 20. Because it was the release date. And they didn't have it.
Oh, well. Did it get pushed back?
Yes. Okay, so we are currently waiting...
Yeah.
We're currently waiting on 3 things. Well, 5. Season 20, Season 15, and the Celestial Toymaker. Alright, Season 20, which is a 5th Doctor serial, which is the one I went to go pick up, was supposed to be out. Yeah, 20, right there. It should be right there. Was supposed to be out. They got pushed back from April to June.
Oh. I got pushed way back.
Yeah, Celestial Toymaker was supposed to come out the week after it. It got pushed back 2 months to June as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it got pushed 2 months to June as well. I was hoping we could do it during this cleanup.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're making it to June on this cleanup.
I'd rather it be pushed back and improved than come out bad. But something gives me the feeling that they're not pushing it back for improvements. It's like budgetary setbacks.
I think they wanted it out around the same time that the people could see the specials.
It's
because the Celestial Toymaker finally shows up again in the specials. Here's this character, see the original.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So
you gotta ride that hype.
The 3 things that we have that are supposed to be coming out are being pushed back, and we don't have another release for a while. Oh. At the same time, we're still waiting on the 60th anniversary specials and the Christmas special. And it's April, and we do not have dates for either of those yet here in the U.S. My great concern is that...
We don't get them at all.
the longer we go without, I know that Disney is trying to ride this train as long as they can. Subscribe to Disney if you want to see these. Subscribe to Disney if you want to see these.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, if I have to wait a year to get these, it will suck, but I'll wait a year.
I think they're just not going to release them on DVD.
That's my fear. Disney has done that before.
Right.
The Simpsons being a thing. I can't get
Right.
The Simpsons on DVD.
Yeah.
And was that before or after the merger with Fox? I can't remember the exact date. I don't know if Fox did it before the merger, but I think Disney did it after the merger.
Oh, Hatter. Speaking of hats, I have one for you. It's shaped a bit weird. It's black. Has a skull and crossbones right there.
Okay.
If you wear it, you can watch it for free, burn it to a DVD. You can pirate it.
Oh.
That was a joke.
I would rather own them.
Right. But you can own pirate it, burn it, and then we'll print out the.
If they don't have the official because it has the stuff and everything,
but there might not be an official.
Right. This is the further we go into the year, because by now, the Christmas special or any special like that, anniversary special, would normally be out. But even if it's not out, we would have a date. It would have been announced in February that it's coming out in the U.S. in like May or something.
And they're just not.
We would have a date. We have no dates for either yet. And the further we get in the year, the more afraid I am that A, they're going to have a delay on everything for a year or two, or B, even worse, they're never going to release it.
Physical release date.
Yeah, and that will suck horribly. But we'll see.
We haven't watched all of K9 stuff, right? He still has one more show.
K9. It's also it's apocrypha because it was not produced by the BBC.
Right. So, is that how many seasons is that? 1. Oh, just 1.
Yeah.
Does he fly ever?
In that he does. Yes.
He does. Okay. So in Star Wars, right? They just put people in the costumes, and when they took the person out of the costume, it created a lot of problems, like with Kamelion. And that happened in The Phantom Menace. So then episode 2 of the Clone Wars, they're like, screw it, we're animating R2-D2. And they're like, how are we going to like animate him going upstairs? And they're like, he can fly now. He has little jet boosters.
Yes, which of course we never see in the original stories.
Right. But I imagine they did the same thing with K9. Because they're like, how do we get him upstairs? We can't just carry it. He can fly now.
Well, K9 kind of regenerates the way the Doctor did.
Regenerates. So he got torn apart and then reconstructed, and they just added
It's a kid's show. He spins around like a Tasmanian devil, and he... I didn't say it was great. Are we going to watch
that?
Yes, we will. When the time comes. Like I said, it's...
Vito.
It's apocryphal, but yeah. And soon we'll be watching our first thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about was we just watched The Underworld Menace. We're waiting on the Celestial Toymaker. There's about 8 or 10 more serials they need to finish for us to get all the early seasons. And I've been debating this with the guys on Digital Spies. They're like, well, no, they're not waiting for the first 6 seasons for them to animate this stuff. And I'm like, really? We got the second season, but that was between the animation deals. Thus far, they keep filling up holes in the seasons, and it looks like they're waiting to release the first 6 seasons until the stuff's animated. But we need 1 animation for the first season, Marco Polo. 1 for the second season, The Crusade. We need like 7 for the third season. That's the one they're working on now. We need 2 for the 4th season, 1 for the 5th season, Wheel in Space, and 1 for the 6th season, The Space Pirates. But rather than finish off the ones that only need 1,
holding the release, so
they keep filling up the holes, and now they're working on. This was season 4,
right?
But we only need the Highlanders and the Savages to finish that off. But they keep working on mostly Hartnell now, plugging in all those holes on season 3. Yeah. So the question is, out of what's missing, I'm assuming it's going to be a season 3 announcement for animation.
Yeah. And I imagine they'll line up with all like the Disney hype. They're doing the animated toy maker with the actual toy maker live action episode.
Well, possibly, but I don't know.
Well, I imagine like they would want to do those seasons kind of the same way, where it's like they build up the hype and then increase their sales figures.
Well, the Disney has nothing to do with the old stuff on that.
Well, the BBC.
Right, the BBC, yeah.
And they want to ride that Disney hype train.
Possibly, but the
do you think it's
you can already see the Celestial Toymakers episode on Disney Plus. The further they postpone,
yeah,
the day it aired, you could see it on Disney Plus.
I didn't know it aired already.
Yeah, those aired in November.
Oh, this was the
13th 60th anniversary specials. Yeah.
That was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Disney is calling what is now Series 14. Okay, with Shutagawa, the 15th Doctor.
Yeah.
They're calling that on Disney Plus Season 1 because they want people to start there. But their contract included the three 60th anniversary specials and the Christmas special, which I'm assuming they're going to call Season 0.
They're like their introduction.
Yeah. You can start here,
yeah.
But if you want to, you can start here. But I think they may be calling it Season 0. I don't know. I've never subscribed to Disney Plus, and I don't want to.
Do you think they kind of did a lot of exposition and introductions into the character?
I don't think so. I haven't seen the episodes.
Any of the specials you haven't seen?
No, because they haven't been released. We're waiting on dates for them to be released.
So I have this hat. And you can watch things before they're released.
At some point, if I have to, I'll go to a friend's house who has it, and I'll watch it on his Disney Plus. But I'm not giving those Hanyaks any money if I don't have to.
Yeah, that's why you pirated it.
Nah, no. But anyway, for the animations, I think they're going to keep plugging up holes in Season 3. So hopefully, prayerfully, one of the next announcements will be the Daleks Master Plan. 12 episodes.
That'd be a doozy.
Yeah.
We need that.
We do. That'll fill up most of the holes in Season 3. That, the Mythmakers, Mission to the Unknown, the Celestial Toymaker when it comes out. And I think there's one more. But yeah, that'll fill up most of the holes.
It sounds like a safe bet.
Let's see. Oh, the Savages. That's the other one. The Savages. Oh, and the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
I have a lot.
But the biggest one, and they're working. Seasons 3 and 4 were the hardest hit by far. But yeah, and then hopefully they'll announce the Daleks Master Plan. That'll be nice. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
That about sums up for Doctor Who news. Anything else in our Doctor Who news?
No, we're waiting. Everything's being postponed. It's just a wait. All right. That's what we think of you, Kamelion. All right.
What about Hatter news? Anything going on? Any new video games you've been playing?
No. I played a game of Terraforming Mars today. I played a game of Everdell today.
Are you into shooters at all?
Mm-mm. I've really been much into first-person shooters.
What about third-person shooters?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Pretty much the same thing. I've been playing a lot of Helldivers lately.
Okay.
Great fun.
So next week, more heroes and villains. When we'll probably go over
a couple of villains.
The Fifth Doctor.
Villain.
And Perry.
Oh, Perry. Oh, we'll be caught up at that point.
No, not really. We still have the Sixth Doctor.
Well, I mean...
We have a whole bunch of bad guys over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Ronnie, Sabadon Blitz, the Black Guardian we need to do. You got the Valyard, the Mara, Lytton.
We haven't done Lytton yet?
No.
Oh, we are behind. I was thinking we're doing pretty good.
We just did the Fifth Doctor and we're finished with the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah, it's almost caught up.
We've got a lot of heroes.
I just didn't realize there's so many villains in between.
Yeah, well, you see the list over there?
Yeah.
Oh, and the Valyard.
Valyard, yeah. Scrapyard.
All right. See you next week, guys. Thank you.
Which generation is the Scrapyard, do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think
Will that
we'll
ever
return
come
to
into
him.
play?
Yeah,
Boop, 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 boop.
that'll be something.